morning, good evening, good night, wherever or whoever you may be. I'm Alan Arante, and this is the Recluse podcast. Today's guest is Barrie Rose. Barrie Rose is an actor, a singer-songwriter, a producer, a creator, and a truly interesting person. Some of Barrie's notable work include a string of music videos, a record from 2016 called Dreams Come True and Love is Real, and Barrie is also the host of the podcast, The Queer Empath. Barrie's videos can be found on YouTube. The record can be found on major music platforms. So without further delay, this is a portrait of Barrie Rose. Who the hell are you? How the hell are you?
Who am I? I'm a human that is existing and trying to be my best every day and keep myself happy. That answers the second question. I'm great. I'm a lot of things at once, but I'm great.
I just watched your... thank you for asking. So many people don't ask back. I'm well. I feel very good today. It's nice and warm out. It's a beautiful day. I'm talking to a fellow creative person. It's the ideal day. So I just watched your new music video, the one you always call. What's the concept of that video? How would you describe it?
So it's a couple things simultaneously. First off, thank you for watching it. It is a narrative where it basically tells this story of me finding someone, my dream girl, on a dating app. But simultaneously, there's a bunch of dancers who are my friends that are doing this choreographed dance together.
That dance, I get the feeling, is there some history to that dance, or was that new for this video?
It's new for the video.
Oh, no kidding. Because in the video, there's like a screen or a frame where it's like a DM or something saying, "Oh, your dance inspired me," or "Your video inspired me." And so the narrative, it seems like a part of the narrative of the video is that there's this dance that people are doing that you sort of created. Did you create that dance?
Oh, yeah. So the story is I'm talking to this girl I'm texting her on my giant phone that I made for the video.
Which I love.
Thanks. Yeah. And so she inspires the creation of the dance. But I didn't. So I had my friend that's a choreographer make the dance, and then she sent it to me, and then I had some adjustments, and then we just finalized it. But yeah, my friend Ashley made it.
I thought the dance was like really cute. The people in it who are doing it are just enjoying themselves, and I just had this genuine feeling of joy just to watch it. So I thought that was a great choice.
That's so great, because when she was making the dance, I told her that I wanted to evoke joy.
That's absolutely what it did, and I watched it maybe 3 times. I had to show my wife. So thank you for that video.
That's so cool. Yeah. I thought that it would be nice to have some sort of, like a positive, uplifting little video in this time to, just bring a smile to someone's face.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to shoot that video?
Well, it kind of, let's see, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks. But it wasn't like we were continuously shooting it all like 5 or 10 hours a day or something. It was kind of made like we would do one scene a day or something. I just filmed it with my brother. So, and luckily we live together, and so it's really convenient, like collaborating. But yeah, so it was this. But I was also creating the props while we were shooting. So it was kind of like oh, we can't shoot this scene till tomorrow because I'm not going to be able to finish this prop.
The props I found them so funny, so cute. Like the big iPad or the big phone, like the pink thing it's so funny to me. I love the pictures. Like, you're looking at like a fake like dating app, and there's like pictures of people, like cartoon pictures. Um, I thought it was a very funny aesthetic, like in a good way, not like in a ridicule way where I say funny, but where like it actually made me laugh and it's cute. Um, were you coming up with a lot of those aesthetics and ideas on the spot, or was it sort of a vision that you had in the beginning?
Oh, well, prior to starting the video, I had written out a treatment, which I always do for stuff I want to film. Like basically, I have kind of a visual aesthetic or a guideline of how I want certain things to be. Like the phone, everything was kind of written into this story. But then at the same time, once we started, there was a certain things that we took out of the treatment and certain things that we added in. Like my brother had a couple ideas that weren't originally in there. So yeah, it kind of changed and then morphed into its own thing, which is nice because it's cool to leave room for inspiration when you're actually doing it.
Yeah, totally. I love that kind of flexibility. It reminds me of I saw this video about. Have you seen the Joker, the new Joker?
Actually, no.
I saw it and I actually really liked it, but I saw this video afterwards where Joaquin Phoenix and the director they're talking about this scene they shot, and they're asking each other questions like, oh, what's the motivation behind the character's behavior at this time? And they threw ideas like that were in the script right out the window and built some of these scenes on set, like, for this $1 million, millions of dollar budget film. So I think that flexibility is so important. And sometimes I would even say some of the magic comes from those moments.
Totally. That's so true. Because inspiration is magic, like when something transpires that was not planned and it just sort of works. Yeah, I feel like that makes it.
And I don't know if this is spoiling anything for your video, but how would you describe the last thing that happens in this video, the one you always call?
The last thing is that I meet the person, but we don't see who they are. We don't see them, but it's meeting them in real life.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought it was a really funny turn. There's two turns that I can think of from your video that made me kind of laugh. The first one is when you're having dinner, and then it kind of zooms out a little bit, and it turns out you're actually not with the person, but with I'm not sure what it is actually. You're with who? What is it? Like a computer?
Yeah, it's a computer.
I thought that was really funny and a good idea. And then at the end, I had this feeling that like I'm the person you were talking to, the viewer, because you look into the camera and it's sort of the perspective of the viewer. So I was curious what your thoughts were on the ending. Is it sort of ambiguous to you?
Whoa, that's so neat that you would think that. I mean that was unintentional, but I guess when you watch something, it's kind of how your interpretation is right. So I'm glad you felt that, but yeah, the way I was thinking about it was just that I meet her in real life, but I'm not going to show you this cartoon person.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. I also, so just to switch gears a bit, I also listened to your record, Dreams Come True and Love is Real. And it's really good. I've seen some of your posts over the years, have never met you. So it was really fun to sort of dive into your catalog. And the record was really good. How long did it take you to write that record? Not record, but to write it?
Well, I don't remember. It's kind of like I released that album in like 2015 or 2016. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that I was writing it while we were recording. I mean, I had a bunch of songs written already. It's hard to say because I honestly don't remember. I mean, I had been writing for a long time, so I think some of them were really fresh while I was recording
Mm.
other songs on the album, or some of them were kind of demos that I had made maybe the year before.
Ah, yeah. Uh, or that album was that is that your first full length?
It kind of depends how you quantify first. I mean, I had a band before that called Tessellations,
Oh,
and
okay.
we made an album, and that was, I mean, I was co-writing with other someone else in the band, but so I think that would be my first full length. But this is my first like solo full length. So yeah.
It's really good. I don't generally listen to pop or like the style of music that you create. I mean, I love all music. I just don't spend that much time listening to that genre. But I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. It's produced really well. There's a lot of arrangement going on. Like there's a lot of instruments and a lot of really cool tones. I was curious about your. I mean, clearly you're knowledgeable about music just based off the music itself. Do you have any formal education in terms of your music?
I went to a little bit of music school, but at that time I was very not focused on school. I mean, I feel like my mind now is a lot clearer than it was when I first started. So I did get some formal education. I took theory one and then I retook it probably twice. I'm not sure if I ever passed. I would not say that's my strong suit, but I do know a little bit of theory. Yeah, but I think most of my education has been just YouTube videos and just teaching myself things and learning little things from people.
Yeah, I that's funny you say that. I also I went to community college and I ended up studying something else other than music, but I took a theory class, failed it the first time, and then retook it and aced it the second time. And then I tried the next theory, like theory two, and I tried to take I took it twice. I failed both times. So I didn't go that far in music, my musical education, but I got a lot out of that theory class. You know, chords and scales and just basic concepts that really shaped like my perception of music. You know, just learning the alphabet of music really helped me a lot.
So, what's your main instrument, or are you a songwriter?
Um, You know, on my negative days, I would say no. But I am. If on a day where I'm feeling positive and confident about myself, I would say yes. I've written songs and I love making music. Am I a good songwriter? I don't know. That's for maybe somebody else to answer. But yeah, I guess yeah. Why should I be ashamed to say it? I am a songwriter and I am a musician.
Yeah, I just mean like someone who writes songs is a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what you mean. Just claiming a title, I think you have to have a certain amount of confidence. But I'm sure you're better than you. You're probably humble.
Yeah, you know, there's like this fear as soon as you say you're something. Oh, okay, prove it, show me, let's see what you did. You know, it's like, oh, like I'd rather just sit in the shadows than if I'm going to be like critiqued or something. Um, so thank you for being gentle about that. You asked what my main instrument is. I learned on guitar, but I've really been focusing on keyboard the past few years. Is your main instrument guitar?
I guess so. I mean, I used to play a lot of guitar, and now I'm thinking I want to start playing guitar again. But uh, so yeah, I mean, I play guitar, but I've been writing mostly by making beats for a while. but I don't think like beats are my main instrument. So maybe my main instrument's voice, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say. I almost said that too. Yeah, you have a great voice. You have a really great sense of melody. I noticed that in your that record, which is a couple years old, but it's so good. I really love the chord progressions that you use. So you said that your formal education.
Oh, thank you.
You said it wasn't like that. It's not like you got a bachelor's in music or something, but clearly you have some intuition, at least, with the chord changes and the arranging. So yeah, just kudos to you again. I just want to make that known. I was just very inspired, frankly. I just wanted to start writing music after I listened to it.
Ooh, that's the best. I started playing piano when I was maybe 5 to 10. I played piano, and so I've written a lot of songs on piano and guitar. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing as you were saying before, to say I'm a guitarist, or I don't know if that's necessarily true. I write songs on the instrument, but I don't do crazy noodling.
Like, I'm not a guitar. I love to play guitar, but I don't know that I could be a guitarist in a band. Like, I feel like I can write a lot of stuff on guitar, but I feel like I kind of just want to write it and then have like somebody else play it for me. Okay, have a buddy be the guitarist, and just play what I write. Because I'm just not that consistent. I like screw up all the time when I'm playing guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. And for a long time, I thought, oh, I could do it. I just have to practice that a lot and a lot. But it's kind of, I feel like there's so many things that you could do if you just focus on it and develop it for a long time. But it's a matter of, do you want to do that, or is it fine just having someone else play it? I mean,
yeah,
I think it's
fine. That's a good point.
It's fine to let someone shine in their own instrument of choice or role of choice.
So, and you've created so much content, just like the videos you do, your music videos, first of all, that, you have, I think I saw at least 12 that are, productions. They're not just like an iPhone video. It's a lot of arranging and stuff. Do you wait for inspiration for all your creative endeavors? Do you wait for inspiration to strike, or are you just constantly hitting it?
Well, I'm constantly creating something. So I really think that creativity is an endless thing. There's no boundary of how much you can create. And I feel like I'm just starting. So So the question was about inspiration. I feel like you create your own inspiration by just creating all the time, and 90% of what I create is not so great. And which is fine. I feel like it's fine to not make incredible things all the time, but then once in a while making that brilliant thing. I just think creativity is a muscle. You just got to keep doing it.
Do you consider what people are going to say or think about the stuff you do, or is that just totally out of the equation?
Well, there's certain people whose opinions I value, which is this is something kind of recent. I don't think it used to be the case, but right now I feel like there's probably 3 people or 5 people whose opinion I really want of something, because I'm not trying to say, I need outside perspective sometime, but as far as the general public, I don't care what people think. But then at the same time, if I get feedback from someone whose opinion I trust or value, then I take it and apply it for the most part. unless I'm really stubborn about it and I'm like, no, actually just want to do this.
Yeah, I haven't done as much. You have a big body of work from what I can tell, and I haven't done that much stuff. But I know exactly what you mean when you say that. You really care about what 4 or 5 particular people say or think, and the rest is sort of extra, and you appreciate the rest also. But I know what you mean. If I write a song or put something out, I really want to hear what a couple particular people have to say. It's like their opinions are the ones that matter a lot. And, sometimes it's a little disappointing when it's not acknowledged by those particular people.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, do you ever ask for feedback in that regard?
Yeah.
I mean, just with those people.
Like I'll send like the work their way. I'm just like super sensitive. Like when it comes to anything I do, for some reason, I don't know what it is about me. I'm not sure if I want praise. Do I want like I don't know what it is. I'm sort of navigating those waters like now, and gradually letting that go and just doing stuff exactly for me, and not worrying about even those particular people. Yeah, I just feel sensitive.
That's just trust. Well, yeah, I wonder what you're sensitive about, because I understand when something is really close to your heart, and sometimes I feel like things aren't even, if it's super, super new and really raw, it might not even be ready to be shown to anyone.
Yeah, that could be. Is there, with the work you've done, is there such a thing as a perfect project, like a perfect outcome? Have you like looked at a thing you've done and been like, wow, that just really couldn't have been any better?
To be honest, I never thought about that, except I think with the one you always call this recent song, I feel like it realized itself. I mean, I feel completely happy with that song and that video. And just for that particular creation, I feel 100% happy about that. Because I feel like everything came together, and there's nothing, and I'm sure there's going to be better projects, not even better, I mean, just different.
Yeah. Do you think that with this project and like this song, you reached a new height with yourself?
Yeah, I'm starting to realize what all the ingredients of what makes something work for myself. I don't know if this probably does not apply to other people, but maybe it could. I just know it's more of a trusting of my own inner knowing, but then there's also a bunch of outside factors. It's it's really, really exciting, actually, because you said I've created a lot of things, but at the same time, I feel like this is my first song in a certain sense.
Yeah.
Because just everything. Okay, I know I'm not even speaking right now. It's because it's sort of this thing I haven't really shared or talked about. I did a demo of that song, and then I had another producer work on it, and I just feel like, okay, maybe I finally trust myself to make the right executive decisions for. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
And of course there's other people involved all the time, but as the executive producer of everything, I finally trust myself, and I think it's taken so long. And this is exciting because it feels like a whole new world is opened. Thank you for letting me go on that tangent.
No, I think that is just so awesome. I can imagine what you mean. Like, wow, like this just worked. I would imagine you went with your gut feeling a couple times, and it's like I knew I was onto something. I knew that this detail meant something to me, and then all of a sudden you get to see and hear the final thing, and you're like, yep, this is what I was imagining. There was something in me, and this is it. Or at least that's what I'm taking away. What you're saying. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love how you say detail, because all those little details come, they're part of the big whole, and they do matter.
Yeah, I just even that video in particular. I saw a lot of your other videos too, which are great, but just this is the newest one and I gravitated towards it. Yeah, like for instance, in your video, the one you always call, the fake iPad or phone, the big pink thing, like one of the first screens or shots you see is of the the device's screen, and there's a lot of little paper apps. Like, you obviously constructed it yourself, and just even that little detail to me, whether you thought about it a lot or just did it, in the moment. I think it just all works, and I'm happy that you feel that you're in this new territory of being. You're this new creative person to yourself now, and I think that's cool. I think that's a great place that artists and creative people aspire for. That they want that to happen every couple months at least, or every couple years. You feel like you have broken new ground with your creations.
Yeah. Do you feel a certain trust of yourself? I mean, do you ever have that feeling of when you know something should be a certain way, but you don't know why? And that was kind of
Yeah.
two questions.
No, I believe I do, and I can't really articulate that feeling any better than how we sort of are right now. It's a very elusive feeling. I can't really grip it, but there's like this sense of direction. It's like this inertia of creativity that I can't fully explain. And I recently sort of felt that I have like a few mini records, I would call them. They're like maybe 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long on SoundCloud, that aren't particularly good. They really are just eggs that are going to hatch eventually. It's just demo work to me, but they're different genres. And now that I can sit back and look at them, I think there's like four of them or five. I can look back at them and say, and just feel like a proud father. I'm just sitting on these eggs, and at some point, it's going to hatch into this album. So I'm sort of dreaming up night and day, whether it's conscious or not, dreaming up this work that I hope to create in the next year. And that's that strange inertia of just kind of knowing or sensing direction, and I get the feeling that you feel that too.
Yeah. Wow. So do you feel like you're going to go back to those songs and revisit them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I didn't really know at the time what I was doing. This is maybe in this year in 2020, I've done all this, but I just started doing it, just started recording these ideas and different genre work and mixing colors, if you will. And now I just sort of have these raw materials that I want. So yeah, basically the answer is yes. I want to write a full length album with, and I haven't said this to many people, and I know it's bad luck to sort of say it in early, but I really think I'm going to do it. I want to write a full album with all of those component parts, like the best parts of them, and create a visual component to it also. So it's like just like a very long music video, basically, but sort of have it be dramatic and have cinematography and like trippy elements to it. So yeah, long story short, I'm sort of finally manifesting this strange creative inertia into an actual thing. And slowly I'm creeping to like it becoming reality. Right now it's still in like the incubation phase, like in my head. But maybe you can sense how real it is to me, even though it's just words I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. If you continuously chip away at it and keep developing and keep doing it, it will definitely come to life.
Are you dreaming up anything currently, or do you have anything on the horizon that you're thinking about?
Well, yes. I mean, I actually, yes and no at the same time. I mean, something will definitely come to the forefront as the next creation that I need to focus on. But now I'm just going to write songs every day and also do acting stuff. But yeah, now I'm just ready to just write songs and see what kind of what sticks out, you know.
Yeah, and there's also that period where you just put this video out. It's like a big creation for me and other people, maybe for you too. There's sort of a little break that I give myself sometimes some after I create something, like just like a mental break. Like, you want to enjoy the creation also. You just put it out. You're getting to enjoy it now. I was just curious if you had any dreams, bouncing around your head at the moment.
I suppose I have a lot of dreams. As far as the ones that are for creation, though, I want to put out um uh, an EP. I guess it could be a full album. I have an EP that I'm going to be done with by in a couple months. I don't even know if I have any songs now that will be on it. But now just yeah, I'm gonna get back to the writing process. But I know what you mean when giving yourself a little break. But at the same time, I don't know. I just really find fulfillment in creating. So I feel like I don't know that I will take any break.
Yeah, you're just like a workaholic, a createaholic.
But no, because there's a lot of space in between, and there's a lot of resting and other things that aren't work all the time.
Yeah. So you're obviously a very complex person, and I'm starting to realize I can't capture like an entire person in an hour. So I won't even try. I know like you do acting and stuff, and maybe we can do a part 2 to this. I sort of want to pick your brain a little bit. You're also very, I don't know, you're just a down to earth person. I sort of want to dig in a little bit. You posted a video a while back, and the subject was self talk and how important and influential the self talk you do is. What do you mean by that?
Well, that's everything. Because you're with yourself all the time, and there's constantly thoughts in your head and just maybe opinions and feelings and everything. And so your worldview is just shaped by the way you look at things. I mean, you could disagree, but I've consciously changed my thoughts and my worldview completely, and it's now things just get better and better just because yeah, it's everything.
So if a person tells themselves, I'm ugly, I'm not really very good at this, I can't do that, how does that influence their life?
I mean, if they are thinking that constantly, they'll make that true for themselves. I mean, I think there has to be kind of a balance of, like you said, like down to earth, kind of a grounding in reality and an acceptance of the things that maybe you can't change. But if someone is constantly thinking they're ugly, they're going to believe that. And I don't think anyone's ugly. I mean, it's just not kind to think that of yourself, because it's almost as if you were talking to a friend, you wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
So why would you say that to yourself?
Yeah, I think that this quality, this is some kind of quality that you have, how the perspective that you sort of just gave me, you wouldn't say that to your friend. Why say it to yourself? You say it to yourself and it eventually manifests in reality. And I think that's a really great quality. And I think that sort of shows, you show that just being you. And I think that's really cool. It's sort of, it's a good example, frankly. So I know some of your videos, you're giving this advice to people, and I don't know that people know how down to earth or real it is. Do you ever feel criticized by people, or I mean, does anybody criticize you?
I'm sure that people have. Maybe not everyone agrees or something, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really experience people going, "You're wrong," or I'm sure that not everyone agrees all the time, but at the same time, I feel like I get mostly positive feedback. But also, okay, back to what you were saying 1 minute ago, I was just thinking that I know that we're not always aware of the things that we're thinking, right? So I feel like even though that's what I believe, that you want to have like positive, nurturing thoughts, I feel like sometimes I have really dark thoughts, but then I have to kind of like talk myself into a better place. And then that's why those things, those things like meditation and for me chanting, just things that clear your mind and kind of clear away the really dark parts and put you into alignment. Like that's what you always gotta go back to. But okay, but as far as the other thing, I don't know. Do people criticize you?
No, I don't think so. Not to me. Every now and then I feel like some phantom behind me or something. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I wonder what people think about me. And every now and then I'll let that sort of boil on the stove. And all of a sudden I think somebody's it's like a crazy thought, that I'm not proud of. But no, I don't think people do criticize me, at least not to my face. Who knows what they're thinking in their head? And at that point, is that even my business? But no, I do just have the fear sometimes that people are silently criticizing me.
So yeah, okay. So do you know Gary Vee? Business entrepreneur guy, but he talks a lot about how that
Oh wait, what's it? I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Gary Vee.
I think I do actually. Yeah, no, yes, I do.
I mean, yeah, he just says that if you listen to people and all that, it just slows you down, and it really doesn't matter ultimately if people are criticizing you or something.
For a lot of people, it's very hard to get to that point where you just don't care, or not don't care because that's a little extreme, but where you just let it roll off your back, even if it's there. That's I think really hard for people to get to that point.
Yeah, maybe it just takes practice of keeping going, because I definitely have those days where I'm more like sensitive to critique and whatnot, but then I just kind of get back to center and move on, because ultimately that does slow you down, just if you're worrying and caring, it's not fun.
Yeah, it's a waste of energy. I mean, you might as well be thinking about like creating or whatever. It's like, why spend your time thinking about people who don't like you, even if that's the case.
Yeah. But also, if your intentions are pure, nothing matters. Nothing else matters. Sometimes I forget some the things that have failed for me in my head. have been things that my intention was not clear or it wasn't like 100% pure. But when my intention is just to, bring joy or bring inspiration, then it doesn't matter how it works out. But to me, it feels successful.
Yeah, I really like that line of thought where, no matter, so if you try your best and you're pure with what you're doing, what can really hurt your feelings about it? If somebody says they don't like it, or if they say something's wrong with it, it's like, well, I know what it means to me. I know why I did it. That doesn't mean you have to understand, but I understand why and for what, I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. I think that's a good mode of operation. You posted a funny video where you had you said that people have called you a tripper, and you say, what if in every moment there were a million outcomes for what could happen next? What's your train of thought with that? I think that's a very interesting thought.
I see that there's so many potential outcomes at any given time and moment. And if I'm thinking about that, it's sort of its own paradox.
Yeah.
So I know every cause has an effect and opens a new door. It's exciting and it's fascinating that it could go so many different ways. Like, what if I could do something right now that could completely change the trajectory of this conversation, and I could potentially ruin it or make, I don't know, the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's sort of I think it's just a really fun thought. It basically is just a description of reality. That's basically what reality is. It's all the component parts working together and the outcome having potential. Basically, the outcome is always potential. And I just thought that was a really interesting thought that you had offered on Instagram. And it was very intriguing. Especially because you say that people think or have called you a tripper. What does that even mean, to be a tripper?
Well, a tripper is just someone who gets caught up in the discoveries, the vastness and the complexness of life, and trips on things and kind of goes down rabbit holes of thought. I mean, you know what? I think I used to be like that more so than I am now, because now it just seems sort of, I guess I like to choose where I focus instead of just, daydreaming and.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like such a bad thing to be a tripper.
Oh no, it's not a bad thing. I think it's great to think about things. And I know that you have this, obviously. Otherwise you wouldn't have this podcast and you wouldn't be asking such questions. You're a tripper to a certain extent.
I take it as a compliment.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just to be able to think about things on so many levels.
Yeah, I think you described that very nicely. I think what a tripper is, somebody who sort of notices the complexity of the world around them and questions or wonders about particular aspects and maybe tears apart an assumption about something and asks a question that isn't always asked. I mean, you didn't say that exactly, but that's sort of my impression of what you mean. And yeah, I think it's a very interesting quality.
Ooh, I like that. Asks a question.
So let me ask you it's not a very strange question, but I think it's sort of interesting. I want you to engage your imagination for a moment. Can you invent a fruit for me? What does it look like? How does it taste? What does it feel like? Could you create a fruit for me?
Sure. Have you done this before?
Never. First time.
Okay, so this is called Synergy. And it's sort of this blue fruit that almost looks like, what are those? Like a squash. Okay, it's kind of like a squash, as in it has a bulbous bottom, and then it has a top that is thinner and gets thinner and thinner and thinner as it goes up. And you peel it like a banana from the top.
Okay.
So inside it's tart and really, really, really juicy and sweet. Tart, sweet, kind of like cranberry juice, but the taste is not like cranberry juice. That's the juice of it.
And did you just invent that?
Yeah.
That's so funny. The way you talk about it, it's like you have one right in your hand.
Well, I was picturing it in my head.
Yeah, see, I figured it's very obvious to me that you have a very big imagination. Like that's one of the things that's very noticeable about you when you listen to your stuff, when you see your work. And I'm just happy. I'm excited to see what you do in your life. You know, you're still young. How old are you, by the way? What year were you born?
I was born in 1989.
Okay, so was I.
So I'm 31.
Yeah.
But thanks for saying I have an imagination. That actually means a lot.
Yeah, it's very, it's just noticeable. I think it's a really special part of you. And I hope you just keep creating. The world would be deprived if you just someday stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone can cultivate their imagination. Because little kids have it. Every single little kid has it. And then, some adults kind of think they grow out of it, but there's so many things you can do to develop your imagination. Do you feel like you have an imagination, a strong one?
Yeah, I think I do. I think you had said something earlier about this this feeling of having this limitless potential. Basically, you said something to that effect, and I kind of feel like that too. That it can just go forever. Like put me in a room, give me a pencil and paper, and I can come up with something. I don't know that it's good, but I just have this sense that I can make something if I feel like it, and I wonder if I take that for granted. Like maybe not everybody feels that way.
Yeah. Well, that's so great that you have that.
I mean, I think I have. That's just how I feel. I don't know that it's actually a real ability, but it feels like I have that potential.
Well, you definitely have it.
Well, it's kind of you to say. Barrie Rose, I have just 2 more questions for you. I thank you for your honesty and your mind, for sharing your mind with me. Here's a question. Suppose you're on your deathbed and it's just known that you have 5 minutes left to live. What would you like to say, and who would you say it to?
Well, am I saying it to anyone who's around, or do I get to pick who's there?
You could pick who's there, just like any whatever you want to be the case is the case.
Okay, well, it's something I recently learned and just figured out, I feel like maybe recently. But find the joy, find more joy, and find more playfulness. I would just say it to anyone who's listening.
And what's the value of that statement? So find more joy and be more playful. What's the value of that?
Because I feel like the key to creativity is allowing yourself to be able to play, which is just kind of a flexible state of mind where you're open to things that come into your head and your body. So it's just allowing yourself to access that. It just feels like the key to everything. at least in my experience.
Well, it's beautiful advice. I think that's a great thing to say to people. So I have one more question for you. Barrie Rose, you can answer this any way you like. Okay. Who are you?
I am evolving every day into I'll find out. I'll find out who that is.